But listen, morning is Friday, and if it's Friday, guess what's happening? We're talking about technology and finance. And in the second portion, we'll be bringing in a special guest to talk about WTO again. Why is WTO important? Because you have to look and see what's going on. While people are watching court cases with Mr. Sands and blackouts and problems at BPL, these are all important things. But if you look at the real issue, what's going to be affecting you for the next 500 years? Decisions that are being made right now. And so we have to decide to look at the real issue, not the distraction, which is an important issue, but it's a distraction. And so we're going to get to that last wrap up on WTO in the second half of the show. But right now I wanted to talk to Wayne a little bit about crypto, the future of money, blockchain, and the digital economy. And this ties into the World Trade Organization, believe it or not, because we have some things in this country that they actually are interested in.
Yep.
People don't lend you money and do great things for you unless there's something in it for them.
Return. What's in it for them?
Return on investment.
Absolutely.
Wayne, I know your time's limited, but we're going to bring you back because you are going to Chicago next week.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing there.
I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm going to be down at Chicago Board of Trade, Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
What is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange? See, we always have these shows where people who are very smart in certain areas come on and they speak things, but the average guy like me doesn't understand. What is a Chicago Mercantile Exchange?
The Chicago Mercantile Exchange is an exchange that trades different asset classes, different kind of products like forex, futures,
commodities.
They trade commodities, and then Chicago Board of Trade.
And a commodity is what, like silver, gold, Bahamian dollars, U.S. dollars, any kind of currency. Oil.
And Chicago Board of Trade, they trade like wheat, sugar, rice, flour, and so
commodities, things you could buy, tangible,
hold on to.
So why would they be interested in this imaginary money cryptocurrency? That's not tangible. That's out in the space.
Chicago Board of Trade billions and billions, trillions of dollars in contracts over the past years. And Chicago Board of Trade and Chicago Mercantile Exchange, when they came in to buy futures contracts of crypto, of the digital money, of Bitcoin, they're not going to put their institution and their names at risk, because they saw where this emerging market, this emerging digital money, it was starting to create value across different sectors. And so what happened is Chicago Board of Trade, Chicago Mercantile Exchange wanted to give their institutional investors an opportunity to be able to hedge against the digital currency, Bitcoin. And that's why you saw this emerging class where it went all the way up to 20,000. And when the negative news came out from the central banks, because it's something that's coming out of control, because central banks are about control, inflation.
Because a lot of people, and you're onto something. What happened was there was, and that's your camera there. Bitcoin was something that came out one of the first, and people, they bought it, and they thought it was like a stock. I buy this thing, it's going to go through the roof, and I'm going to sell it off.
Right.
You have to understand it was really a currency.
Yeah.
You're buying gold, silver, and that fluctuates. It
Right.
goes up and down, depending on who wants it and who doesn't want it.
Yep.
And on different things happening around the world.
Yep.
Financially, if there's a war, just people trying to get their money out of a country, it's many variables, right?
Right.
And so it peaked to 20 grand because there was a boom in interest in buying this gold.
Right.
Gold went to $3,000 for one coin, an ounce.
Right.
And it's now down to about $1,300.
Right.
It may go up again if you see paper monies start to have problems.
But let me tell you one of the real reasons why this thing began to happen. One of the real reasons why this thing began to happen is the debt crisis. The debt crisis, the financial crisis of 2008, where the fall of Lehman Brothers, the fall of Fannie and Freddie, and then you had Bear Stearns.
You mean the global recession?
The global financial crisis that came
we
about.
know what that was.
It caused this whole debt crisis because these big major banks were lying to investors and institutions, and they were getting support. And I want to make it clear on the show that the rating agencies Moody, Standard, Fitch.
Right.
They got fined billions of dollars from the SEC in the United States for lying to investors that these investments were safe.
Wait a minute. You mean in my newspaper, I always see these things that say
Moody's going to downgrade us.
Standard & Poor's and Moody's is going to downgrade us.
I do not...
But Standard & Poor's are known convicted criminals.
Yes.
Obama found... Well, the government, right? Not Obama, but Obama was the president. Found them guilty of misleading on what? On the housing bubble.
Yes.
And many other things.
But not only that.
They got fined how much money?
They got fined billions of dollars.
$1.5 billion.
But not only that. For lying. Then
but we accept their rating of us.
That's why it behooves me.
But did they ever come down here to count everything that we have, our assets? How much sand, how much aragonite, how much oil?
We continue to go after these rating agencies and accept what they say as gospel. And I have a major...
Foreign is better again.
Yeah, I have a major problem with that, because when you look at the global financial crisis, the mortgage-backed securities, they told investors these mortgages were safe. Mm-hmm. And the investors turned around and sold those mortgage-backed securities back into to institutional investors, pension funds, mom and pops kind of businesses who needed to be able to have retirement plans, 401ks, all these different investments, portfolios bought into this kind of investment vehicle, and it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And so what you had, the financial crisis, when the whole economy and the whole world went into recession, and you had Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the white paper, the peer-to-peer electronic cash system came about because people lost faith in banks and institutions, so it was a matter of trust. And I ain't trying to use a political slogan, but people put their faith in institutions, people put their faith in entities, and when those entities lose the value of trust, they begin to collapse. And guess what happened?
Right.
This whole idea of where people could be able to make payments without having to go through institutions where they get charged large fees. When you really look at it, this whole financial system created a financial system that has never been seen before in the history of the world. And so what you have now is with this whole ascension in the WTO, where they control small island developing nations from making their decisions. As a nation now, I don't have to deal with fiat currency. I can deal with digital currency to be able to do transactions, to do business globally. And now what you have happening is that small island developing nations are being forced, their hands are being forced because they borrow so much money from the slave, from the servant. And when you are a servant, when you are the borrower, a servant to the lender, you are in danger.
So you're saying that the people who lent us money for all these good things, new roads, new whatever we see going on around here, those people are now going to come and say, we need our money back?
They can say we need our money back, or you're going to have to cut civil servants. You're going to have to cut, you got to bring in particular taxes, like VAT, fees, all these different fees and all this stuff that is going up. See, you have I said this the other day. Bahamians have to go on to Google the truth about the WTO, Google the truth about the IMF and the World Bank and how they destroy economies and how they destroy countries.
And if you don't want to Google, you can put it in YouTube
and watch the video. I want you to watch this, Graham. I want you to watch. People need to watch how the IMF destroyed Jamaica and the Jamaican economy and the Jamaican dollar. Watch Life and Death of Jamaica. And watch how they destroyed that economy. Jamaica produces more and in terms of infrastructure, in terms of manufacturing, they export, but the Jamaican dollar is not valuable. What they have done to the Caribbean is we
have other people here. We have other people here on talk radio. I wouldn't call names, saying that with bachelor's degrees, saying that Jamaica is on the move. They're moving up. But I see the dollar going from 131 to 134
Graham,
them for $1 US.
Graham, that is cost because of inflation.
No, but why? How could you say they're moving up?
Jamaica,
more exports?
More exports. But
so they're taking more bauxite out of the country, but the dollar's going down.
The dollar's still gone. But hyperinflation. But here's what happened in Jamaica. Their interest rates and hyperinflation cost the dollar not to be as valuable as it is. What is happening in our country? We have a recurring deficit, the recurring debt cycle, the continuous financial borrowing that put the country at a financial standstill. There's no economic growth. And so here's what is happening. All the countries in the region, when you look at Barbados, when you look at Trinidad, when you look at Haiti, when you look at the Bahamas, when you look at their debts combined, it is billions and billions of dollars in debt. It could be even in the trillions what the Caribbean and Latin America owes the IMF and the World Bank. That is why digital currency and the digital economy is these nations could get out of the problems that they're in. If they start to trade and do business in the digital economy, they could bypass the inflation, the high interest rates, the debt burdens that is placed on the nation, and now you're going to have a thriving economy that is moving forward using digital currency, using the digital application, and now you can be able to do business peer to peer on a financial system that is one of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And that is what is taking place. And that's why you see right now, years ago, see, Bahamians need to know the history. When I came back home from school, we was talking about the IMF. We was talking about the digital economy. We was talking about e-commerce. We got it right. We was talking about forex trading. When Owen Arthur came here talking about the Caribbean single market and economy, Jeff Davis, Fane Thompson, Paul Moss, Dwayne Johnson, Paris Simmons, we went out to the Hilton. We were the ones who were leading the charge, Graham too. We were the ones who was talking and educating the Bahamians about the truth about the IMF and the World Bank and why this is not good for the Bahamas. I don't care what the economists say. I don't care what the pundits say. I don't care what you read in the papers. Go and do your homework yourself to understand how they destroy economies. And they come in, they lend you all this money, and now you have to listen to what they are telling you to do. Read the fine lines, Bahamians. This is what is happening in our economy. This is what's taking place. And so here's what happens now. In the digital economy and the future of money is digital, where there's no institutions that are involved. That is why central banks around the world, they are afraid of cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency, you do not need a centralized authority. Blockchain is something that can take place. It eliminates fraud. It eliminates chargebacks. It eliminates all these high fees that takes place in this economy right now. Economies that have embraced blockchain and cryptocurrencies, they are economies that are growing.
Explain this before we go to blockchain. Let's just talk about cryptocurrency. What is this cryptocurrency? It's not gold. It's not silver.
It's not gold. It's not silver.
It's not paper money.
It's not
like
paper
US
money.
And
No.
Bahamian money.
No.
Well,
no.
how does it work?
Cryptocurrency is a digital currency that is online, that used as a medium of exchange, where you can is powered by cryptographic, where it gives it value. That is where the value comes from. The value comes from the cryptographic and the aspect of using the cryptocurrency within the blockchain space to be able to conduct transaction. Like you have Litecoin, you get Ripple, you get Ethereum, you get Monero, there's so many different coins that are out there. You have Zoo coins, and so you have so many different applications that are out there. So I tell people all the time, there are some things that has happened that has given cryptocurrency a bad name in terms of the loss of value, and some people who have used the cryptocurrency for fraudulent kind of situation, where you had a coin called Banana Coin that raised $25 million, but it wasn't backed by anything. These are the kind of things that has taken place. But what you have with the cryptocurrency and the blockchain is, if I create an ecosystem like a Amazon, which is worth $1 trillion, like an Apple, like an eBay, and I have an online shopping activity, and now people could be able to pay in cryptocurrency. Now my cryptocurrency is used to be able to make payments, to be able to accept currencies, not currencies, but be able to accept value in terms of, let's say, real estate, let's say retail, let's say education, let's say healthcare, let's say I want to go and do an Airbnb. And so the person say, we don't accept fiat, we accept crypto. So now you have a situation where I just come right up to your establishment, I go into my wallet, I send you the value for what you are renting or selling your item for, and you receive it in your wallet, and the transaction is done.
Wow.
That is where we're at. Just imagine.
So it's similar to as if I had minutes on my phone.
Yes.
I could send the minutes to your phone.
Yes.
And we didn't use a bank.
Right, digitally. It's called digital banking. What crypto is digital banking, bank to bank, but you're using digital money. And so what cryptocurrency is digital money. The reason why the banks are closing down, because everything is going digital.
They even tell you that. They say they're going digital.
Yeah, they're going digital and all.
So soon I won't have a Bahamian dollar bill. It'll be in my phone like minutes.
Yeah. And that is the evolution. Look at what they did in Kenya. They said, we're not going to build no more infrastructure in Kenya. They used the mobile phone to be able to make payments, to pay for light, to pay for water, to pay for electricity, to pay for education. This is the evolution. We are still operating in the 19th century, and we're in the 21st century. And when I go to Chicago, when I go back in Elgin where I went to school, I'm going to be visiting my college and my university, and I'm going to go downtown and visit the financial district. I'm going to see some things that is going to literally be transformative. Because why? You expect it when you go to first world nations. But you have a country like ours that is so close to the largest economy in the world, the United States of America. When you go there on a jet, to see that we're still operating in the 19th century on policies, procedure, and process. That is what is taking place. The digital economy right now could work. Kids who are trying to have problems registering at UB, University of the Bahamas, long lines.
Yeah.
Here's how we could be able to solve that problem. You put the kids, let them register on the blockchain. When they register on the blockchain, depending on when you register on the blockchain, you get to register for school. So what does that do? That drives our children now to be able to look at technology and register on the blockchain, and so you get registered in school according to the blockchain. Number one. Number two, we have a lot of problems with real estate transactions taking place in our country where properties are sold 2 and 3 and 4 times, and we don't know who the owner is. We don't know who the rightful title owner of the property is. That process now is registered on the blockchain.
And now, what is this blockchain? We got to look at this deeper.
Well, blockchain.
It would allow that one transaction to happen, but it validates it on many other sources. So it's like when you sell me the property, right?
Yep.
It shows up on this phone, and a million phones.
Yes.
So if you try to sell it to someone else, right?
Right.
It's still there. Let me break it down even simpler. If I send a WhatsApp, right?
Right.
To my group of 200 people.
Right.
And I take a picture of something, whatever, some sweet art. And I take that picture on my phone, I send it to 200 people. They all have a copy of it.
Yes.
And so what happens is I could break up my phone to get rid of the picture.
Right.
And then I could say, but it never happened. It wasn't me. But it's on all of those other phones.
Right.
With my number.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That is a chain.
Yes.
They call it blockchain. And what that means is that
you interlock. Like you interlock.
There's a record.
There's a record of the transaction.
Multiple PCs.
Yes. And let's say, Graham, every landowner,
Right.
every landowner who's in our country,
Right.
who have title and deed to their property.
I got someone who wants to weigh in. They're calling in.
Okay.
And usually I don't do it, but hey, if you want to call, 826 all zeros. Kendall, good morning. You're live.
I'm live. How you doing, Graham?
I'm doing great. You in studio, Wayne Johnson and me. And we're talking about digital economy, crypto, blockchain, WTO, how all the technology is coming and we're not prepared, but it will happen. And I while we were talking about WTO, I know that you had mentioned there's no unions in WTO.
Yeah, there are unions, but they have no leverage against the rule-based system, which is called the WTO. The rule-based system is straightforward. Is their way or no way. And good morning to you guys. I'm just calling to check if you were live. I didn't know
you
were live.
What we do is we'll get you in about 20 minutes, and we'll bring you in. We'll video you in and put you up in the corner and have a discussion with you. Okay?
Okay, solid.
But we are on. You go take.
Yeah, hey Kendall, listen to this.
Hey, what's up?
Bahamians are just waking up. I've been waked up from a long, long time ago. And let me tell you something, Kendall. When I was talking this kind of stuff, sensible people with master's degrees, with PhDs, was looking at me funny.
Right.
I think I was talking and speaking a foreign language. When I say, when you are sending the WTO, you have multinational corporations that have budgets bigger than GDPs of economies. So you think government's going to have any say when you join WTO? If they want to come into your market and participate, and you're part of the G7 or one of the bigger countries. Here's what happened. Right at the British Colonial Hilton, they came in and they was talking with WTO, and they said one of the reasons why the Bahamas has not been given the opportunity. Say, in order for us not to accept export only, we need to join WTO. I tell them hogwash. The reason why export-only products come in the Bahamas because we ain't joined WTO. So multinational companies could export their products to the third world because they say export-only because wholesalers want cheap products.
Right.
The cost is to get sick, and now you got to go get insurance, and now you got to go get. It's a cycle, but you don't understand the cycle and how it works. Mm-hmm. You'll never be able to understand what it is. And so, what happens now is our people have been trained that you have to be see they use language. You have to be a citizen of the world. You got to be able to accept things from all over the place. Instead of saying, listen, we're going to position you, to educate you, we're going to bring our educational system up to speed, we're going to bring infrastructure up to speed, we're going to make Bahamians where they're owners in this economy, and instead of signing on the WTO, we need to sign on the bilateral trade agreements with countries that suits our values in terms of what we need to benefit and grow the economy.
And should be countries that are oppressed like we are and not the big four bad boys. Because they keep putting pressure on all the small countries saying we need to join up with the big boys. No, if all the small countries came together, we would have that same power. And it's ironic, the small countries are all on the equator, where the minerals, the sun, and the value of the planet is, right?
Yep.
So they're oppressing them. And all of the big boys happen to sit above the equator. You notice that?
Well, Kendall, let me tell you what happened. They because of bad news, Antigua and Barbuda industry, one of the industry died. The industry died. And the World Court says the particular country, one of the G7 countries, had to pay. And when we asked the representative from the G country...
Let me cut in quickly. I got to come out. I have a call coming in. I've been waiting on this all week.
Okay.
Right. Okay, cool.
So
what happened to the G7 nation, right? This particular G7 nation was told by the WTO that they had to pay. And I asked him the question, have you guys paid the fines yet? And the guy paused and he started to choke and he started to drink the water.
it was His Excellency Mr. Shark.
Yeah, and you saw it. You was there, Graham.
We all asked him questions.
Yeah, and
I asked him what developing country was better off after WTO than before. None.
And that is why you see right now countries...
That's why you see someone like Trump saying don't do it.
Whether
you think he's crazy or you think he's the greatest man, it don't matter. If he's crazy, he says don't do it. Don't do it. If he's the greatest man, he says don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, let me just say this.
Unless the trade agreement works for you.
You?
And that's why you saw that NAFTA, the Mexico, America, and Canada agreement, he canceled that. He said, that doesn't work for us.
No.
Let's rewrite this where it works for us. When you have someone else bringing you an agreement to sign, it's very simple, If I bring you this agreement and I say sign this, Wayne, 2-1, it favors me.
Right.
So we need to say tear that up, and we're going to give you an agreement to sign because it favors us.
Well, see, that's
but
the whole...
we have no one here that knows how to negotiate anything other than a soup kitchen.
No, but we have been told. See, we got to remember. The fellow who watching the house with the rat and the cheese,
right?
He going to the same university where when the professor gave him instruction, even the professor was lying to him. He bought what the professor told him. So whatever the professor brings to him, whatever daddy brings to him, he got to sign. He don't question daddy. That's a problem. Small island developing nations have to sign bilateral trade agreements with countries where there is deficiency. And now you have a level of a medium of exchange where your goods and services, your manufacturing, all these different levels and factors of your economy.
You have fair trade.
Your fair trade. And now they start to work. You start to work in your favor. So here's it. You have income inequality in our country. You have a imbalance of trade in our country. We have a lot of things that are not functioning in our country. Electricity.
Imbalance of trade, you're saying we import everything.
Everything. We don't send anything out. And so now you want us to come and join an organization.
That's based on trading.
Based on trading. And
How
then
does that work? What do we trade?
What do we trade?
Well, you have to look at the future because maybe we'll be stitching a lot of textiles, that was said by one minister. Maybe Freeport will have a lot of jobs, stitching a lot of shirts and hats and shoes.
And then you know what that means to your income? Your income goes down. That
That's
means
a sweatshop.
That's a sweatshop.
That's a sweatshop scenario.
Now, when you embrace...
How do they start?
These things start on the other side of the world in terms of that kind of opportunity. But Fane, here's what I'm going to say, Graham.
Okay.
Just this. The digital economy can grow our economy. The blockchain, the future of money in this region, it's taken off. Bermuda, Cayman, Barbados already put in effective legislation to be able to make their country grow again.
Well, the Bahamas has announced they've got some new cryptocurrency coin coming out, some initial coin offering, ICO.
Right.
And I asked the question, why would someone buy that coin over some other coin? It just, for me, I couldn't understand what makes it so valuable when it's coming out. Now, I had suggested one thing, right? I had suggested, hey, producer, put this coin up to the camera so people can see it, or take a photo and put it on screen. I had suggested a conch coin almost a year and a half ago now. And then we had this thing in Freeport where we were talking crypto and all this other stuff. I had suggested we did a conch coin, which is an imaginary money on the internet, just like you have minutes on your phone. That's imaginary.
Right.
It's not tangible. You can't touch a minute. But what happened was we would have taken our conch coin, and I used that because we had a coin in 1966, a silver coin that had a conch on it, and it was $1. So this was the reasoning behind me saying conch coin, and I think there was some rumor of the word conch coin, and that's where it came from. And so if we were to do a conch coin, we could base it on our natural resources, sand, aragonite, potential of fish that we could farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bahama rock, we could go on, oil, natural gas that we have here. Yes, we do have oil and natural gas. This could be another show. So if you based it on those things, that imaginary coin that would be in people's phones, right?
Right.
That's how you would add a tangible value. You see, in America, what they did was they had gold and they printed paper money, and the gold was what backed the money.
Right.
And then they went to fractional
banking, and then they came off of the gold standard, and that was the whole.
And that's why people are now buying gold and silver, because it will have a value that I can touch. That paper has no value.
No, it doesn't have any value, and that's why cryptocurrency is so important, because of the value,
coin.
Right? And then see, the whole idea is the ecosystem. When you look at the ecosystem in terms of what is getting ready to take place and what is happening, the ecosystem gives you the opportunity to be able to move at a particular level to allow this transaction, this digital money to be able to take place. I believe that the future of money is going to be digital. I believe that the digital economy is here to stay.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. The digital economy is moving at such a rapid speed that when you have countries in the Asian market, Graham, right now, that have embraced cryptocurrency, like Japan. Over 369,000 of their stores use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin.
They were the first
to accept Bitcoin as a legal tender.
And no one's saying that Bitcoin will be the number one coin in
Right.
the future, you know.
Right.
When it started off, American Express, Visa went ahead of American Express.
Yeah.
But they're both viable.
Yes, absolutely. And so the whole idea is the future of money is happening. Cryptocurrency and blockchain and digital economy is here to stay. And we want people to be able to understand that they need to be able to go online. They need to be able to watch the documentary. The United States Congress did a Future of Money where they were in Congress. You need to listen to that to be able to get a level of understanding. Then you need to Google blockchain and how big banks.
You only need the one with the coin, with the conch.
Yeah.
But you see this building behind us?
Uh-huh.
That building, you might not even see that building in another few years.
Right.
Because what is the need of that building? That building restricts us. It restricts us. Because I find it very hard to get U.S. money or investors to come and give me the money I need to do my business, right? I have to go through this building.
Right.
And governments.
Yeah.
But if the person we start doing digital money.
Yeah.
They send me the first $1,000 and I go buy the first set of lumber. If you accept digital payment, like minutes,
yes,
they will send me the minutes, the investor from America that's going to partner with me. I will take those minutes and buy my lumber from you and start my project. I didn't need a central bank.
No.
I didn't need Trump or his federal bank.
No.
And this is how the transfer of wealth is going to happen.
Well,
this is what we've been speaking about, Wayne.
Well, Graham, here's what we should have done in Freeport. They want to make Freeport a cryptocurrency hub. What we should have done was invited cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency billionaires who've been in the real estate business, come into Freeport, raise all that money to be able to do the hotel in Freeport, and actually use the blockchain and cryptocurrency to raise the funds instead of going to the traditional route.
But we did have that meeting here. At Bahama, remember?
Yep. We had over 5,000 persons at Baha Mar.
Polycon.
Polycon and
How do you spell that? P-O-L.
Polycon. Polycon.
You can Google it and see what that was. It actually happened here in this country.
And they had some of the biggest names. So when I asked the guy from Polycon, I said, "Why did you guys come to the Bahamas to be able to have your event?"
Mm-hmm.
He said the Bahamas is a major asset in the blockchain cryptocurrency space in the world because you're close to America, strong offshore banking,
Center of the hemisphere.
center of the hemisphere, and everybody talks about the Bahamas being a major player in this market space.
Well, we were in banking, we can be again. So, Wayne, just while we wrap up, tell me what you're doing next week. You're going to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going to Chicago next week. I want people to be able to take a look at, go online and look at the ZooCoins, look at the Zoocars app. When I get back, we're getting ready to launch a hunting application in the Bahamas called the Zoocars app. We're gonna get people could be able to hunt, redeem, and collect Zoocars apps in the Bahamas. So just go to www.zoocoins.com. The coin was at $1.25, $1.50. Now the coin is $5 a coin. We're gonna be traded on Trade.io, and then, like I said, I'm gonna be in Chicago. Doing some meetings, and so we're really excited about the opportunity that is taking place and what is going to happen. We believe that cryptocurrency, the digital economy, blockchain is the future. We have a lot of behemoths that are doing some tremendous things in smart contracts, and so we believe that the future looks bright for us in the digital economy. We believe that the blockchain economy is going to be bright in the Bahamas. We believe that we have so many brilliant minds out there that are doing awesome things in the blockchain cryptocurrency space. And I just want to encourage you all to continue to innovate, continue to create.
We got some text coming in. Tamikio Albury says cryptocurrency is the future, of course. Bitcoin LE is the new coin. 5 times more energy efficient than Bitcoin. And I'm sure that's in the mining process. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And when we get into the Bitcoin and crypto mining and different currency minings, the Bahamas is located where there's a lot of sun. And so with solar, you can run computers.
And you can mine. And you can
mine
By the way,
for longer than 5 hours a day for free energy, because that's what causes mining to be expensive, is the cost of energy. And so people say we have high humidity, but yes, we can afford to run air conditioning off of solar as well.
Well, Graham, let me just say this. I met a lot of Bahamian young men who were mining, and they were doing very well.
In this country today.
It's
been happening for
years. And they are very successful, and I'm happy for them because they have tapped into an industry that is global.
So right now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I got another guest, and Kendall Colbrook is in Freeport. So I'd like to hear what's happening in Freeport, because maybe the tech city has started.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, Wayne. Next week we're going to have you in.
Thank you,
live from Chicago.
Yeah, 468-7958. 468-7958.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the coins that you're representing as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Just wanted to come and talk so we could be able to.
I want people to see that it's real. You're going to be in Chicago.
Yep.
You're going to be doing the transaction, and if you could find someone up there to speak about it too, that'd be nice.
Yep. So we're excited.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you too.
We'll be back right after this quick break. So we're back, and we had to wrap up this WTO. Next week, I'd like to talk about what happened when the court case is finished with Dr. Dwayne Sands and others. But for today, let's look at what you were missing. Fane, let's try to do briefly what is happening and how do we stop it and what can the average person do, because everyone asks me is like, this sounds good, y'all talk a lot, but I don't know what I could do as an individual. So you had some ideas?
Well, first Bahamians must begin to sit back and accept that this is really an existential moment that we are facing. That simply means that this is one of the moments in our history, if we join this organization, which will be remembered for the next 50 to perhaps 100 years. It has vast consequences, dangerous consequences which Mr. Lang are playing down because he wants to be the person to say that he took us into this madness of an arrangement called the World Trade Organization. You know, Dr. Gilbert Morris, I think, had some comments which he made recently about the impact of WTO. I want people to look that up online and to look at what we've done over this week, the first and second shows, and what we're doing today. WTO is something that you can learn about yourself. I'm going to speak directly to the Bahamian people when I say Google it. Just punch it in. Anything you may be interested in, just punch it in. And once you get a particular theme, WTO and small islands, small economies, punch it in. You'll get a lot of material. WTO and the IMF, punch it in, and you'll get a lot of responses.
World Trade Organization,
yes,
which is WTO.
And IMF, the International Monetary Fund.
Right.
And whatever you want, you will get news, you'll get videos, and you will get an explanation. The do's and don'ts about the WTO, the do's and don'ts about the IMF, the do's and don'ts about the International Development Bank. A lot of people believe that somehow the IDB plays this innocuous role in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and that there are no strings attached to the loan conditionalities which they impose upon us to suggest the Bahamas for loans internationally. People do not realize how serious...
Such nice
let me finish, Graham. Mm-hmm. People do not realize how serious the IDB is. The IDB is the smaller version of the World Bank. The World Bank is a variation of IMF. IMF is a variant of what the WTO is all about. Just read Bahamas, read. I implore you to read Bahamas, read. Do not let Mr. Lang or Fane Thompson or Paul Moss or Graham Rutherford tell you anything and you not check it. That's why when I did my show on Wednesday with you, I gave them references, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that again. You have people like Dr. Ha-Joon Chang. You have people like Dr. Joseph Stiglitz, a former Nobel laureate in economics, former president of the World Bank, who is actually opposing this WTO one-size-fits-all method of globalization. It's a very serious thing that you must learn, and it's not boring, it's sexy. You know why it's sexy? Because if you don't take the time to learn it, you and your children will regret it. We are being recolonized as we speak, and the people who are recolonizing us, Graham, look like me. They look like me, and they're being hired by people who look like you.
But they'll say it's scare tactics that you and others are doing.
They can say whatever they wish. That's why I invite Mr. Lang, Bachelor of a BA in economics, to sit down anywhere and discuss it calmly. And we invite him yet again to come back to the show and discuss it. The campaign to save the Bahamas must now begin. We must hashtag, you do not have my permission. You don't have my permission. Or ask for my hashtag ask for my permission Lang. Hashtag ask for my permission Lang. Someone please get that going. Hashtag ask for my permission Lang. You do not have my permission. You tell stories if you say that we agreed 17 years ago to this. I was around 17 years ago. And finally, I want to say this. We don't need foreigners to come in and be experts on this. The experts in this are in this room. You're an expert, Graham. I'm an expert. Brother Fox is an expert. Because we all have the ability to sit down and teach ourselves and to learn. And you've been discussing this for years. You and I and other people have been discussing this for years. There's no one in the Ministry of Finance or in the IDB or in that group now being led by Mr. Lang who knows this issue better than you or me. Or Paul Moss, or anyone, or you and Wayne who just left. Yep. There is no one in this country who knows this issue, my people, better than you. There is no one who knows this better. So please do not feel that somehow you must be intimidated if you have this town meeting comes around and they want to tell you that somehow if we don't join, we're going to be left out. That is not true. We've been out of it for 17 years. Countries in the Caribbean have been in it for 25 plus years.
But we're going to be left out of what?
And they're exactly. And they're beginning to understand.
Now.
They're beginning to understand how serious this is. So
Yeah. So what can we do?
I'm suggesting read Bahamas Read. Learn Bahamas Learn. Speak to your member of parliament. We'll start a petition. Encourage town meetings. Invite people like myself and Graham and others out to speak to these issues. Let's inform. Let's make this hashtag, this new hashtag, if we can get this going. Ask for my permission line. Make it real. Make it real. Force him to come to the table and admit what Kerry Leonard said. It's going to cause hardship for this country for at least 2 to 3 years immediately. That's what the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce said before he stood down. The minister responsible for this area, Mr. Brent Simonet,
he actually said he conflicted with what the other.
Yes. Mr. Lang gives the impression it's going to be all that good. So this last show by me is to emphasize the need for us to learn. Graham, I've seen a learning curve with you as my friend. You didn't do the political economy or the development economics in school or university. Mm-hmm. You came via business. Mm-hmm. But I've seen your learning curve and you've matured to understand exactly what these issues are. Mm-hmm. Do not allow the Fane Thompsons of this world, the Zhivago Langs of this world, to make you feel as if your opinion is somehow less than theirs. And I'm sure you're not going to do that.
No.
But I'm trying to encourage the Bahamian or those like you, who didn't perhaps do the university degrees and so forth, to feel that somehow you cannot sit down. You have the competence to discuss this issue as anyone else does. Mm. So it's going to be so my point is hashtag what would I say? You don't have my permission line. Not without my permission line. Hashtag you don't have my permission line. Let's get that going. Let's try to point out to this good gentleman, listen, ask for the permission of the Bahamian people and demand at the end of the day, after doing all those other things, a referendum on this huge move. It's going to affect us for the rest of our lives. This is the new slavery. Let me speak to black Bahamians. This is the new slavery. This will lock us in to a system which we will never be able to get out of. And the white businessman, the same applies. For you, this is your certain end.
It will.
This is your certain end.
It will open
I'm done.
It will open up the economy to where
we cannot compete.
Anybody can come and outspend you.
Yes.
What does it mean? If you look at a small boutique resort, we keep talking about these boutique resorts, right? And you have one in an island, say Exuma or Bimini or Abaco, and you now have a few rooms. You could have a big group come and open up hundreds of boutique resorts, and they could put those at $20 a night for the first year, just as a marketing scheme, right? Mm-hmm. To get people to come. They could be nicer than ours because they have more money than us. So they outspent us on the product. They outspent us on the marketing. Mm-hmm. And after that first year, no one's staying in our place, right? What do?
And just by virtue of...
Do we end up going to work for them? No, because they can bring in cheap labor, cheaper than us, with the enterprise bill.
Exactly. Or they use illegal so-and-so labor.
Whatever.
Yes.
But even if they wanted to be legal, they could bring in cheap labor,
yes,
pay the work permit, right? Mm-hmm. But the salary is so little. You have countries where $5 a day is a lot of money,
You do not have my permission line. Not without my permission line. Let's hashtag that. Let's get that going.
So share that video, and we'll put up a link to a few pages that you're going to do, and that's pretty much the end of the show. It's very simple.
We've had 3 editions of it.
We have
first, the second, and now the third.
We're inviting the minister,
yes, of course,
to come and sit with you,
the minister, yes,
or anyone that he chooses, and explain all the good things.
And subject yourself to cross-examination and questioning by people who know the industry. Sit down and even talk to those who you feel comfortable with. But don't pretend as if there's only one opinion in this country on this. There is, in fact, Mr. Lang is a minority opinion.
And
he's a minority opinion. And he represents the few Bahamians who believe in this nonsense.
Yes. But the way that it's projected is that this is the best thing in the world and everyone else is stupid,
yes,
and doesn't understand, right, and they don't want it to happen because of special interests. Well, special interests may want it to happen.
What special interests?
What is the special interest when you're saying do not allow everybody to come and eat a piece of our lunch?
Or protect the Bahamian industry and the Bahamian people.
There's not one industry.
Nothing wrong with that.
That is reserved.
Exactly.
According to the minister, he said, I can't no longer protect any industry.
Mr.
They're
Simonet
all on the
that.
table.
Mr. Simonet said that.
So that if you drive a taxi, You could see people
It's
here.
it's wide open. It's wide open. So we are facing that existential moment, and that's what I meant when I used that word. Please, Google that word too. It don't mean nothing big. Simply means it's a serious moment in our time.
Don't let 2020 come and you realize what happened in 2019 and 2018.
It's the new
Enterprise bill's
slavery.
already done.
It's a new slavery. We don't need this. I appreciate your time too, Glenn, by inviting me to come and sit with you.
We're coming back Monday, and I have something Monday. One of those shows that we all like, man, where we could scream and yell and talk about a craziness. Because the serious shows are more important. Just like watching that court case was not as important as watching this World
I heard
Trade
there was a-
Organization.
I heard there was a verdict in that case, or am I just seeing things?
We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Until then, y'all have a good weekend.